Okay, today we're going to kind of put it all together as far as our z-scores and our percentages go. Okay, so turn over to page 13 in your packet. Remember yesterday or last time we did this using the calculator. Okay, again, make sure that you have this handy and make sure you have these steps handy over here so that we know how to enter this in our calculator to find the percentage. Okay, today's a little different though because we aren't given the z-score. So we're going to have to use our knowledge of how to find the z-score and then plug those into the calculator. Okay, the last time we were here, they gave us the z-scores. Okay, they already gave us the z-scores. Oh, I'm sorry, down here at the bottom. Okay, they gave us the z's and we didn't have to calculate them. Now they aren't going to give us the z-scores. They're giving us these different values and we have to find the z-score and then put it into the normal CDF part of the calculator. Okay, so at the very top, make sure you put must find the z-score. Okay, quick reminder, here's the formula. The number minus our average divided by the standard deviation. Okay, you have to be given the average and the standard deviation in order to find the z-score. Okay, so we're going to do that before we even pull up our calculator and begin typing those things in there. Okay, so right here it says a soft drink machine is regulated so that it discharges an average of 8 ounces per cup. An average of 8 ounces per cup. The amount of drink per cup is normally distributed with a standard deviation of 0.5 ounces. Find the probability that a cup contains these situations happening down here. Okay, letter A, more than 8 ounces. Okay, there is no need to put this one in your calculator. Think about your normal distribution. Okay, if my average is 8 ounces, what is the probability that we are going to get more than 8 ounces? 0.5, 50%. It is the same probability that you are going to get less than 8 ounces. Okay, that is your average. That is your number in the middle. Okay, so you do not have to put that in your calculator at all. Okay, it will give you a z-score of 0, so when you try to put it in your calculator, it is going to mess you up. Not mess you up, but it's going to give you 50 and it's going to take way more time than necessary. Okay, over here, let's calculate our z-scores first, and then we'll figure out what we're going to put in the calculator. Okay, so my first is between a 7.8 and an 8.4 ounces. Okay, so I have 7.8 minus my average of 8. My standard deviation is 0.5. And then I have 8.4 minus the 8 over my standard deviation. So let's figure out what those two z-scores are. Okay, so my first z-score is 7.8 minus my average. Divide that by my standard deviation of 0.5. So my first z-score is negative 0.4. My second z-score is 8.4 minus my average of 8 divided by my standard deviation of 0.5, and that gives me a z-score of 0.8. Okay, so now we're going to go into our calculator, into our second bars, option number 2. Okay, second bars, option number 2. I don't know why I just put that in there like that. Okay, for my lower z-score, I'm going to use the negative 0.4. For my upper z-score, I'm going to use the 0.8. So negative 0.4. My upper z-score is 0.8. Go down to paste. And we get a percentage of 0.44. Which is 44%. Okay, letter B, more than 8 ounces. So I need to get my z-score, or more than 8.8, sorry. So I have 8.8 minus my average over my standard deviation. 8.8 minus my average over my standard deviation. That gives me a z-score of 1.6. Okay, so let's think of more than, which means that my upper is completely unknown. Second bars, option 2. More than 8.8, so my lower value is going to be that 1.6. And my upper is going to be that big number we've been plugging in, that 999,999, just to stay consistent. Paste it, and hit enter. Okay, so again, for the lower, we used our z-score of 1.6. For the upper, we used that really big number, and we got a percentage of 0.054. Which translates to a percentage of 5.4%. Okay, less than 7.5. Again, I have to get my z-score, so 7.5 minus 8 divided by the standard deviation. Gives me a z-score of -1. Okay, so in my lower, I'm going to put my unknown because I want to know how much lower does it get. What percentage is lower than that? I know what my upper value is. I don't want to know anything past 7.5 ounces, which was a z-score of -1. Okay, so when we put this in our calculator, option 2. So my lower is that big number, or I should say little, -999,999 with the upper of -1. Paste it. Whoops. And we get 0.158, which is 15%. I know I just wrote 4 when I clearly said 158. So it's actually 15.8%. Okay, moving on, same type of problem. We're just dealing with a different set of average and standard deviation. Okay, this time we reported the average body mass, or BMI, is 25. Okay, with a standard deviation of 5. Sorry, 25 in the 39 age group for women. Oh, 25 to 39. That's not the average. I'm sorry, that's the age group. Okay, the average is 24. Standard deviation is 5. What is the probability they fall in these categories? Okay, again, we have to find the z-score. These are not z-scores. These are the values of their body mass index. Okay, so we have to find the z-score. So my first one is a 22. My average is 24. Standard deviation of 5. So that's my first value for this problem. My second one is 30 minus the average over the standard deviation. Okay, so my first z-score that I'm going to be working with is negative 0.4. And my next is 1.2. So in my calculator, my upper value is 1.2. My lower is the negative 0.4. Whoops, totally wrote that backwards. And the upper is 1.2. Paste it. And we get a percentage of 0.54, which becomes 54%. Okay, next one between 32 and 35. So I have 32 minus our 24 over 5. And then 35 minus 24 over 5. That's going to give us our two z-scores. So I have 1.6. Whoops. 1.6 and 2.2. Okay, so obviously this is my lower. This is my upper. Second vars, option 2, lower is 1.6. The upper is 2.2. Paste it and let's see the percentage. 0.0408, so 0.041, which is 4.1%. Okay, coming over here to my greater than section, let's figure out his z-score. Actually, I already know the z-score for 35. I did it right here. Okay, 35 minus 24 over 5 gave me a z-score of 2.2. So I'm looking for everything above that. If I'm looking for above, then my greater is my unknown. Don't forget that. Okay, greater than, so my lower is 2.2. My upper is what I don't know. Okay, that's where I want to leave it open-ended. Put in that really big number right there. .2, my upper is the big number. And we get a decimal of 0.014. Or 1.4%. Okay, less than 20. Less than 20. Let's figure out our z-score. 20 minus 24. Negative 0.8. And I want to know less than that. Okay, so my lower is unknown. So I have to put in a negative big number. And my upper is known. It is the z-score of negative 0.8. negative 0.8. 0.211 or 21.1%. Okay, and then back to the easy ones down here where they give you the z-score. Okay, they give you the z-score luckily, so you just type those in your calculator. Okay, so my lower, negative 2.51. An upper of 1.94. I'm going to do all these on the left first so I can keep my little calculator that's sitting here, right here, so I don't have to keep moving it back and forth. Okay, so my lower is negative 2.51. Upper 1.94. And that is 0.967 for 96.7%. Okay, letter B, to the right of. To the right of. So my lower is known. You kind of have to think about these. I know what my left value is. I know how far left I'm going. I do not know how far to the right I am going. Okay, again, I know how far left. I do not know how far to the right. So 0.0018 or 0.18%. Okay, like I said, I'm going to keep going down the left side here. We're still given z-scores, so our life is still pretty easy. Okay, we're still going to stay on this left side for right now. Okay, so in number 4, letter A, we have a lower of 0 and the upper of 1.71. The decimals got a little wonky there. .456. And letter B on this last column right here. A lower, negative 2.19. The upper is 2.14. .14 is my upper. Y'all are probably way ahead of me because y'all's calculators are way faster than this one. This one is sensitive, so I have to be careful. Okay, so 0.969, which let's basically just give him 97%. Okay, if I was grading tests, that's what I would give you. Okay, going over here to the other column. Okay, they do not give us the Z's for C and D. I'm sorry, I thought they did. They do not, so we have to calculate our Z scores before we can type them in our calculator. Okay, it does give us the mean and standard deviation though, so we're in good shape here. So 3.2 minus our average, our standard deviation is 2.2. So that gives us a z-score of negative 0.36. Okay, that's our z-score. Wants to know to the left of that. To the left of that. So again, my lower is what is unknown. And my upper is my new z-score that I just found. Okay. Remember, in order to just jump straight into putting it in your calculator, it needs to say z. It does not need to say x. X is the value, not the z-score. Okay, and 0.359. Which is about 36%. Okay, letter D is between these two values, so I need two different z-scores here. Make sure y'all are getting the same z-scores that I'm getting here. Okay, and remember, like I said before, bad news is if I mess up, y'all can't yell at me. You're just going to have to go with the flow unless I catch it myself. Otherwise, y'all will probably have the right answer and I will have the wrong answer. But at least the work will be correct. Negative 0.83 is my lower. I'm doing a between value again. 0.17. Paste it. 0.364 or 36.4%. And the last two on this page does give us the z-score. So greater than that, think about it, greater than this value, which means that they give us the lower of 2.46. And the upper is what we are trying to figure out. I want to know greater than this value right here. Okay, again, you're going to have to stop and think about some of these before you go type them in your calculator. And 0.0069. Oops. And the last one on this page says less than. So again, my lower is unknown. And my upper is the z-score that it gives me. Negative 1.21. Paste it. 0.113. So 11.3%. Okay, again, those are tedious A little lengthy, but not super difficult because mostly the calculator does all the work for you. Okay, you just have to think a little bit about if we're talking about which one gets upper, which one gets lower. Okay, you're about to love me because page 14, you do not have to do. That accidentally got put in there and it's missing stuff, so it's not even possible to do that page. Okay, 15 is a super easy page, and we are just quickly touching on bias and unbiased. Okay, what does it mean for something to be biased, or what does it mean to be unbiased? Okay, you remember commercials are very biased. They are trying to sway you in one way or another. Okay, if it is unbiased, then it is a very blanket statement that isn't trying to persuade you to do one thing or anything else. Okay, my name is Miss McAdams. Very unbiased statement. Okay, have y'all, or did anybody take that crazy lady for math last year, Miss McAdams? Totally biased. Okay, clearly we all know I'm not crazy, so that's a very biased statement. Okay, so we're going to go through and do these quickly and we will be done. Do you think gaudy iron gates are a reasonable way to add security to a home? Biased or unbiased? There's a few things in here, or actually one word really, that makes this a biased statement. Gaudy. Whoever made this statement obviously does not like the look of an iron gate. Okay, so they threw that word gaudy in there and it immediately became a biased statement. Okay, number 7. What type of beverage do you usually drink at lunch? Okay, what type of beverage do you drink at lunch? Unbiased. There is nothing in there that is making fun of you that drink vanilla milk, chocolate milk, strawberry milk, bottled water, can of Coke. Okay, nothing in there would sway anybody to go any way, one way or the other. Okay, do you manage to find at least 1 hour each night to pry yourself off the internet and focus on schoolwork? Okay, this is very, I guess not really derogatory would be the word, but it's very condescending. Like, do you find enough time to pry yourself off the internet and focus on schoolwork? Okay, they have made it a biased statement or a mean statement, really, by basically making fun of all the time spent on the internet. Okay, number 9. Have you ever considered that it is your responsibility as a licensed driver to remain under the posted speed limit? Okay, have you ever considered that it is your responsibility? Okay, I would personally say this is a biased statement. Okay, it's this whole beginning statement, have you ever considered, kind of sways it in the condescending manner to me. Okay, have you ever considered? It easily could have started at, it is your responsibility as a licensed driver to remain under the speed limit. Okay, then it would have been fine. Okay, but the condescending, have you ever considered section kind of throws the whole thing off. And the last one. If so many successful people don't have college degrees, why are you bothering to get one? Okay, lots of things happening here. If so many successful people, why are you bothering? Okay, totally biased statement right here. Okay, because of the condescending statements, the condescending manner that they are asking the question. Okay, that is it for today. Almost done with this packet, which you know what that means. There is a test coming up. Okay, almost done with this packet, and then we will be reviewing and testing.